In a big city, there were two worlds. One world had tall glass buildings and fast cars. The other world had small houses and crowded streets. Arjun lived in the world of small houses. He was a very hard-working boy. His father was a driver, and his mother worked in other people's kitchens. Arjun worked too. During the day, he went to a small college. In the evening, he worked at a fancy coffee shop in the rich part of the city. Arjun had a kind smile and eyes full of dreams. He wanted to be a teacher one day. In the world of glass buildings lived Mira. She was the daughter of a very rich businessman. Her house was like a palace. She was beautiful, but she was also very lonely. Her parents only cared about money and big parties. One rainy evening, Mira walked into the coffee shop where Arjun worked. She looked sad. She ordered a simple tea and sat by the window. Arjun saw her. He didn't see her expensive jewelry. He saw her sad eyes. "Is the tea okay?" Arjun asked softly. Mira looked up. No one ever asked her if she was okay. They only asked about her father's business. She smiled a little. "It is perfect. Thank you." They started talking. They talked about books, the rain, and dreams. For the first time, Mira felt happy. For the first time, Arjun felt like he was more than just a waiter. For 6 months, they met every day. Arjun would take her to see the sunset from the top of a small hill. He gave her wild flowers. They were poor flowers, but Mira loved them more than diamonds. "I love you, Arjun," Mira said one evening. "I love you too," Arjun replied, "but I am a poor boy. Your world is different." "Love has no world," Mira whispered, but they were wrong. One day, Mira's father saw them together. He was very angry. He called Arjun a beggar. He told Mira that she was a shame to the family. Mira's father had a plan. He had a friend, another rich man. That man had a son named Vikram. Vikram was friends with Arjun in college, but he was a rich friend. He was arrogant and liked to show off his money. "You will marry Vikram," Mira's father shouted. "He is from our world. That delivery boy Arjun will never see you again." Arjun tried to meet Mira, but the guards at the gate pushed him away. They hit him and threw him into the street. Mira cried and screamed, but her parents locked her in her room. They arranged the marriage quickly. Arjun stood outside the mansion on the wedding day. He saw Mira in a red dress, looking like a ghost. She was marrying Vikram. The heart of the poor boy was broken into 1,000 pieces. Mira's life with Vikram was not a fairy tale. It was a nightmare. Vikram did not love Mira. He only wanted her family's money and a beautiful wife to show to his friends. On the very first night, Vikram came home smelling of alcohol. "Where is my dinner?" he shouted. "The maid is bringing it, Vikram," Mira said quietly. "I want you to bring it. You are my wife now. I bought you." Vikram laughed a cruel laugh. Every day was the same. Vikram was a rich boy, but he was not a good man. He drank alcohol every single day. When he was drunk, he became a monster. He would break Mira's favorite vases. He would shout at her and say mean things about her. Poor friend Arjun Do you still think about that, waiter? Vikram would hiss, grabbing her arm tightly. Look at this house. He could never give you this. Mira's arms were often covered in bruises. She wore long sleeves to hide the pain. She called her parents and cried, "Father, please help me. Vikram drinks too much. He is mean to me," she sobbed. But her father was cold. Every marriage has problems. Mira, Vikram is rich. Be happy with the money. Do not talk about this again. Mira felt like a bird in a golden cage. She had everything: gold, silk, and a big car, but she had no peace. She forgot how to smile. She stopped painting. She just sat in her dark room and remembered the wild flowers Arjun used to give her. Arjun, meanwhile, was far away. He had left the city because the pain was too much. He worked 3 jobs. He worked until his bones ached so he wouldn't have time to think about Mira. He was still poor, but he was saving every penny. He wanted to be a man who could never be called a beggar again. 3 years passed. Mira was a shell of a person. Vikram's drinking got worse. He lost a lot of money in gambling. He started blaming Mira for his bad luck. The rich friend was now a dangerous man. One stormy night, Mira's life changed forever. Vikram was at a party. Mira's parents were traveling back from a business meeting in another city. The rain was heavy, and the roads were slippery. Mira was sitting in her room when the phone rang. It was the police. "Is this the daughter of Mr. Kapoor?" a voice asked. "Yes," Mira said, her heart racing. "I am sorry, ma'am. There was an accident. A truck hit your parents' car. They did not survive." Mira fell to the floor. Her parents were gone. The people who gave her everything but love were no longer in the world. She was now truly alone. When Vikram came home that night, he was more drunk than usual. He heard the news, but he didn't cry. He didn't even hug Mira. "So, they are dead," Vikram said, stumbling. "That means all the money is ours now." Finally, Mira looked at him with horror. "My parents are dead, Vikram. How can you talk about money?" Vikram got angry. He pushed her against the wall. "Don't shout at me. I am the boss now." That was the moment something snapped inside Mira. She realized that the rich world had taken everything from her. It took her love, her parents, and her dignity. "I am leaving you, Vikram," Mira said. Her voice was not shaking anymore. It was cold. Vikram laughed. "Where will you go? You have no one. You are a princess who doesn't know how to walk on the street. I would rather be a beggar on the street than a queen in this house," Mira said. She took nothing. No gold, no silk, no money. She walked out of the house in the middle of the storm. She walked until her feet bled. She went to the only place where she ever felt safe. The small hill where she used to watch the sunset with Arjun. She sat there in the rain and cried for her parents, for her lost years, and for the boy she had lost. She fell asleep on the cold ground, wishing she would never wake up. The next morning, the sun came out. A man was walking up the hill. He came here every year on this date. He carried a small bunch of wild flowers. It was Arjun. He wasn't a waiter anymore. He was a teacher in a small school. He lived in a tiny but clean house. He was not rich, but he was respected. He saw someone lying on the ground. His heart stopped. He recognized the hair, the face, even though it was pale and thin. "Mira?" he whispered. Mira opened her eyes. She thought she was dreaming. "Arjun, am I dead?" Arjun knelt down and picked her up. He didn't care that her clothes were dirty. He didn't care that she had been married to someone else. He only saw the girl he loved. "No, Mira, you are alive. I am here," he said, his eyes filling with tears. He took her to his small home. He gave her warm soup. He listened to her story, the pain, the drinking, the accident, and the escape. "I have nothing now, Arjun," Mira cried. "I am not a rich girl anymore. I am just a woman with a broken heart and no home." Arjun took her hands. They were the same hands he held years ago. "Mira, I never loved your father's money. I loved you. My house is small, but it is full of love. My life is simple, but it is honest. If you want to stay, this is your home." Mira looked around the small room. It was warm. There were books on the shelves. There were wild flowers in a glass on the table. "Can you really accept me again?" she asked. "After everything?" Arjun smiled. It was the same kind smile from the coffee shop. True love doesn't have a clock. It doesn't look at the past. It only looks at the heart. Mira didn't go back for the money. She let Vikram and the lawyers have the mansion. She chose the small house. She started painting again. She painted the hills, the sun, and the man she loved. Arjun and Mira got married in a very small garden. There were no rich businessmen, no fancy cars, and no expensive wine. There was only music, laughter, and wild flowers. The wheels of justice turned slowly, but they always reached their destination. While Mira and Arjun were building their simple life in the village, the rich world they left behind was falling apart. One night, the news reached the village. Vikram, the man who had caused Mira so much pain, was arrested. The police stopped his expensive car and found illegal drugs inside. He was not just a drunk. He was a criminal. Without Mira's family to protect him, Vikram had no power. He was sent to jail for many years. The man who once laughed at poor people was now sitting behind iron bars in a cold cell. Justice was also working for Mira in another way. Her parents' lawyers finished their work. Because Vikram was a criminal and Mira was the only child, the law decided that all her parents' money, the mansion, and the businesses belonged to her. Mira was suddenly a very rich woman again. The lawyers came to the village in their black cars. They showed Mira the papers. "Ma'am, the mansion is yours. The millions are yours. You can come back to the city and live like a queen again," they said. Mira looked at Arjun. He was standing near the door of their small house, wearing his simple teacher's shirt. He didn't look at the money. He only looked at her with love. Mira turned to the lawyers. "I am not going back," she said firmly. She did something that shocked everyone in the city. She ordered the lawyers to sell everything. She sold the big mansion. She sold the fancy cars. She sold the expensive furniture. She kept the money, but she didn't want the objects that reminded her of her golden cage. With that money, Mira and Arjun did something beautiful. They didn't buy a palace. Instead, they bought a large piece of land in the village. They built a big, beautiful school. It was the best school in the area. It had a library full of books, bright classrooms, and a large playground. It was a school for the children who were like Arjun, children with big dreams, but no money. Everyone can study here, Mira announced on the first day. No one will ever be called a beggar in these halls. Arjun became the head teacher of the school. He wasn't just a waiter or a small town tutor anymore. He was a leader. He taught the children that hard work and a kind heart are the most important things in life. Mira lived with him in their small, peaceful house. She used some of the money to live comfortably, but she spent most of it on the children's books and clothes. She was finally happy. She didn't have 100 servants, but she had 100 children who called her Teacher Mira with love in their eyes. Years passed. Vikram stayed in jail, forgotten by his rich friends. But in the village, Arjun and Mira were legends. They proved that you don't need a mansion to have a big life. Every evening, they sat on their small porch, holding hands and watching the sunset. The girl who was once a prisoner of wealth and the boy who was once a waiter of the poor had built a world of their own, a world made of peace, education, and true unstoppable love. The story of Arjun and Mira teaches us that poverty is not a crime, and wealth is not a character. Vikram had everything but lost his soul to his bad habits. Arjun had nothing but gained the world through his kindness. Mira learned that you cannot buy happiness, but you can build it with the right person. If you are struggling today, remember, your current situation is just a chapter of the whole book. Keep your heart pure, work hard, and never let anyone tell you that you aren't enough because of your background.